Welcome to Inside China AI. I'm Gabrielle Chou, Associate Professor at NYU, based in Shanghai. Today, I'm very happy to have Lucy Tan back with me.
Thank you, Gabrielle. It's great to be back.
Lucy, today we're talking about a question I hear constantly from CEOs and senior executives.
Where is AI actually paying off?
Exactly. Not where is AI impressive? Not where is AI producing a beautiful demo? Not where is AI making a board presentation look future ready?
But where it is actually showing up in the P&L.
That is the question. Where does the money go in? Where does the money come out? And how do you justify the AI budget when the CFO starts asking for proof?
Which is happening everywhere now.
Yes, boards are not anti AI, they are skeptical of unclear returns. After 3 years of foundation model spending, hyperscaler capex, and pilots that produce demos but not always measurable returns, companies want evidence.
They want to know what works, where it works, and how long the payback takes.
That is why this episode matters. In 2025, I conducted 24 confidential interviews with senior executives at large Chinese industrial groups across 9 sectors.
Oil and gas, chemicals, utilities, automotive, consumer electronics, telecom infrastructure, solar manufacturing, leasing and mining.
Some of these companies had already been deploying AI in supply chains and production lines for 5 years by the time we spoke.
So they had already moved through the question many companies are asking now.
Exactly. And today we're going to look at 5 answers from those interviews.
5 different answers.
Yes, not 5 repetitions of the same story. Each case teaches something distinct about where AI paid off, what the payback window looked like, and what conditions needed to be in place for ROI to show up.
And the important point is that none of these cases is exotic.
That is the whole point. None of them requires a foundation model breakthrough. These are recognizable use cases for anyone who has run an operations transformation,
Which may make them less glamorous.
but much more useful.
So, where do we start?
With the first pattern, the fastest payback came from the least glamorous work.
Predictive maintenance.
Exactly. Case 1, the boring work was the money.
At one of China's largest petrochemical groups, AI did not pay off first in the frontier applications.
It did not pay off first in autonomous refineries, generative AI process optimization, or AI driven strategic decision making,
It paid off first in pumps, compressors, and pipelines.
which is not the version of AI that gets the applause.
No one is opening a keynote with, "Let me tell you about our compressor maintenance model."
And yet, that was where the money was.
The company put IoT sensors on industrial equipment and connected them to an internal platform that could predict failures 48 to 72 hours in advance.
The system reached 92% accuracy.
Unplanned downtime dropped roughly 30%,
Maintenance costs dropped 20%.
and the payback window was 12 to 18 months.
A similar pattern appeared in another sector, with even larger numbers.
One of China's largest battery manufacturers quantified the savings from predictive maintenance at 1.8 billion renminbi in a single year.
And overall equipment effectiveness rose from 78% to 90%.
That is not a pilot metric, that is operating performance.
Exactly. But here is the interesting part. These were not always the deployments the companies wanted to talk about publicly.
The public story was usually more frontier facing.
DeepSeek integration, generative AI, autonomous systems, refinery optimization.
The frontier work was the headline.
The boring work was the money.
That is the sentence every board should hear.
The frontier work was the headline. The boring work was the money.
And this pattern repeated across the interviews.
Inventory optimization, route optimization, quality inspection, predictive maintenance.
Those produced the fastest, cleanest, most measurable returns.
Forecast accuracy improved by 15 to 40%.
Overstock dropped 15 to 30%.
Logistics fuel costs fell 10 to 20%.
Quality inspection defect rate improvements were sometimes an order of magnitude.
Meanwhile, the frontier applications were often still in pilots.
So, the first lesson is simple.
If you are running an industrial or operations heavy business, the AI investments most likely to pay off in the next 18 months may not be the ones that sound most exciting.
They may be the predictive maintenance system, the inventory engine, the routing algorithm, or the quality inspection vision model.
Not necessarily the AI that gets the headline.
But the AI you can put in a P and L.
Exactly. Case 2 is more strategic. The ROI compounded when one company owned more of the chain.
This matters because it challenges a management assumption many companies have operated under for decades.
The assumption that the best structure is always to focus on your core and outsource the rest.
That logic made sense when coordination across separate companies was expensive. But AI changes the coordination cost, and it changes where the gains can be captured.
The example here is solar manufacturing.
Think about how a solar panel is made.
It starts with raw silicon. The silicon is melted and pulled into a crystal. The crystal is sliced into wafers. The wafers are processed into cells. The cells become modules. The modules are shipped.
5 steps.
Traditionally, those 5 steps can be handled by 5 different companies.
But one of China's largest solar manufacturers owns all 5.
And when AI is deployed across every step of a chain that one company owns, the gains do not just add up.
They compound.
At the silicon stage, AI monitors temperature and pressure inside the crystal pulling furnaces and adjusts in real time.
Yield goes up 8%.
Energy use goes down,
And the silicon that comes out is more uniform, with fewer defects.
which means the next step receives better input.
At the cell stage, computer vision inspects every wafer for flaws.
Qualification rate hits 99.9%.
The cells become better cells, and they feed the next step.
At the module assembly stage, 400 autonomous vehicles move materials through a smart warehouse 24 hours a day.
Order fulfillment drops from 24 hours to near instant.
Each AI improvement makes the next AI improvement more valuable.
The 8% yield gain at the start does not stay at the start.
It travels down the chain.
That is the key point.
The investment in one smart factory base exceeded 10.2 billion renminbi.
Module costs dropped 18% in a single year.
The group captured roughly 80% of global N-type cell orders by 2024.
And reached second place globally in shipments at 57 gigawatts.
Now compare that with a competitor using the same AI at only one step of the chain.
Because the other 4 steps are outsourced.
The 8% improvement at the silicon stage does not flow through to the assembly line because someone else owns the silicon.
The cell qualification gains do not flow through because someone else owns the cells.
Same AI,
Different ownership structure.
very different payoff.
So the useful question is not simply, should we vertically integrate?
That is too broad.
The sharper question is, was the outsourcing decision made assuming AI did not exist?
Exactly. And if the original logic was built before AI lowered coordination costs, does that logic still hold?
That is a board-level question.
And it applies beyond solar.
Chemicals, automotive, electronics, logistics, food production, mining.
Anywhere the output of one step becomes the input of the next.
AI gains may not simply add up,
They may compound.
but only if the company owns enough of the chain to capture them.
Case 3 surprised me most.
Asset-light businesses.
Yes, because here AI did not just optimize the existing model, it changed the model.
The example is industrial leasing.
One of China's largest industrial leasing groups leases medical equipment to hospitals and construction machinery to contractors.
They used IoT sensors on every leased asset.
Those sensors fed usage data and equipment health data into AI models.
The models could predict failure, recommend optimal release timing, and dynamically price contracts based on actual asset use.
Asset utilization went from 68% to 82%, with a 2025 target of 90%.
Return on assets rose 18% in a single year.
Net Promoter Score rose 25 points.
Those are strong efficiency gains.
But the more important move is what they did next.
They stopped selling equipment on credit and started selling guaranteed uptime.
That is the shift.
In the old leasing model, the customer pays for the asset and bears much of the operational risk.
In the new outcome model, the customer pays for the result.
And the leasing company can bear more of the operational risk because AI helps predict it.
So AI did not just make leasing more efficient.
It made a different business model viable,
The company also created an AI-powered lease score.
which priced risk for customer segments traditional credit scoring could not serve.
That product helped win 800 million renminbi in rural hospital contracts.
Contracts that a major state bank-affiliated leasing competitor could not serve profitably.
So the lesson is important.
They did not get better at leasing.
They became a different kind of company.
That is a huge distinction.
And any asset-light, data-rich business should pay attention.
Because AI may not only optimize the current model,
It may make a different model possible,
the risk is deploying AI only defensively,
using it only to reduce cost.
while a competitor uses similar data to create a new revenue model.
The leasing group did not necessarily have better data than others.
They asked a different question of it.
Case 4 is about something that does not look like productivity at first.
Market access.
Exactly. A meaningful share of AI spend in these companies was not about productivity, it was about regulatory access.
The telecom infrastructure example is very clear.
One of China's largest telecom infrastructure manufacturers sells 5G equipment to operators across Asia Pacific, Europe, and Africa.
The executive said something that sounded operational, but was actually strategic.
100% of EU shipments used blockchain traceability in 2023.
That is not a productivity number.
It is a market access number.
The blockchain layer exists because of EU export controls and component origin requirements.
And the AI layer on top exists because the company needs to demonstrate compliance, batch by batch, in real time, in a form European customs can audit.
The investment was substantial.
4.5 billion renminbi in AI spent between 2021 and 2024 at that single group.
And a meaningful share of that was regulatory adaptation cost, not simple operational efficiency.
Chemicals showed a similar pattern.
A diversified chemicals group used blockchain traceability to track every batch, from manufacturing to farm application.
The result was not just fewer counterfeit incidents.
Though counterfeit incidents fell by 90% in pilot markets,
the more strategic outcome was a 5 to 7% price premium on blockchain-verified products in India and Brazil.
Because verification cleared local and export compliance at the same time.
This is where the second-order effect matters.
Regulatory friction changes incentives.
Export controls, data localization rules, ESG reporting requirements, carbon reporting mechanisms.
Companies respond by building compliance technology stacks.
AI plus blockchain plus IoT.
And those stacks do more than clear the regulations.
They become differentiators.
The exporters with the compliance stack can access markets and command price premiums,
while those without the stack cannot.
And eventually, the same compliance infrastructure may be sold as a service,
including to other industrial buyers facing the same requirements.
That is the strategic point.
Regulation changes the cost of doing business.
And when that cost is high enough, companies build infrastructure around it.
Case 5 is important because it keeps the story honest.
Not everyone has deployed.
Exactly. China is not a monolith.
Some Chinese industrial groups are deep into AI.
Others are barely started.
One Chinese automotive manufacturer said very directly that no large-scale AI implementations had been deployed to date.
Real-time route adjustments for trucks still depended on GPS navigation.
Independent AI predictive maintenance systems had not been deployed.
There was no clear special investment budget for AI.
Their strategy was scenario-driven, gradual verification, and focused on mature AI solutions.
In plain English, they were waiting for someone else to prove the ROI before deploying.
Which sounds like many cautious operators everywhere.
Exactly. This is not a China versus the rest story.
No, that framing is too simple.
The better framing is early adopters versus cautious operators.
Some companies have already tested AI inside production, maintenance, logistics, compliance, and asset utilization.
Others are waiting for clearer proof.
And that split exists inside China too.
In a supplementary set of shorter interviews covering 6 more companies, 3 reported little or no AI deployment.
2 agri-food groups and 1 in metals and mining.
So the number of Chinese industrial firms that have not deployed is real.
And large enough to matter.
Which means the useful question is not, is China deploying industrial AI?
The answer is, some companies deeply, others barely at all.
The better question is, within my sector, which operators have deployed? What did they learn? And how far ahead are they of the cautious ones?
That is a much more useful intelligence question.
The binary version creates either panic or complacency.
Neither helps.
The cautious Chinese auto executive and a cautious CFO anywhere in the world may be saying roughly the same thing.
Wait for proof.
But the companies that moved earlier captured the proven use cases first.
And now they have 18 months of operating data that cautious firms do not.
That is the cost of waiting.
Waiting may be defensible.
But it is not free.
Exactly.
Let's pull the 5 cases together.
First, the fastest payback came from operationally familiar use cases.
Predictive maintenance, inventory, quality inspection, routing.
Not the frontier applications.
Second, AI ROI compounded when one company owned more of the chain.
Which means AI strategy may force boards to revisit corporate structure and outsourcing assumptions.
Third, in asset-light businesses, AI did not just optimize the model.
It enabled a new model.
Fourth, some AI spend is really compliance infrastructure.
And compliance infrastructure can become a market access advantage.
Fifth, not every company is ahead.
But early adopters are building operating data that cautious operators do not yet have.
So, what should a CEO bring back to the board?
Not the question, what is China doing with AI?
That is too broad.
The better question is, in our own operations, where would the ROI show up first?
What would the payback window look like?
Are we allocating capital toward the AI investments most likely to pay off?
Or toward the ones that sound most exciting?
That distinction matters.
Because the groups that produced measurable ROI were not using mysterious frameworks.
No. They used familiar management discipline.
Phased rollouts.
ROI gates, measured in months.
Hybrid build-buy partner decisions.
Infrastructure investments that compound.
The discipline is familiar.
What the early adopters did differently was act earlier.
And that head start is the part worth bringing to the investment committee.
Exactly.
Let's make this simple for someone listening while doing 3 other things.
The AI that pays first may not be the AI that gets the headline.
The biggest ROI may come when AI is deployed across a chain, not inside a single function.
AI can turn a service company into an outcome company.
Compliance AI can become a competitive tool.
And the split is not geography, it is adoption stage.
Early adopters are gathering evidence.
Cautious operators are waiting for it.
Waiting may reduce risk.
But it also lets someone else build the operating data first.
So the question is not whether to copy anyone.
It is how to read the evidence correctly.
Exactly. So let's wrap this up. This week, we looked at where AI actually paid off inside Chinese industrial businesses. The clearest returns did not come first from the most glamorous use cases. They came from the operational core: maintenance, inventory, quality, routing, asset utilization, and compliance infrastructure. The bigger lesson is that AIROI is not only a technology question, it is also an ownership question, a business model question, a market access question, and a timing question.
The boring work was the money.
Exactly. And that may be the most useful sentence to bring back to the boardroom. Thank you very much for listening to Inside China AI. I'm Gabrielle Chou, and Lucy, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next week for another episode of Inside China AI.